Hello, everyone. This is Debra Richardson, and today I am putting the AP in Happy, where accounts payable teams are empowered to protect the vendor master file from fraud. This podcast will give a voice to accounts payable team members by talking about the growing reality of cyber attacks in their world and which vendor setup and vendor management techniques they can apply to protect the vendor master file from fraud. Need training? Visit the Vendor Process Training Center to enroll in your choice of weekly live and on-demand training sessions. Plus, get access to vendor setup form templates and reference tools that will help you and your team to reduce the potential for fraud, compliance fines, and just overall bad vendor data. So sign up for a free account to get access to free training sessions, vendor process FAQs, and a resource library with information you need to manage your vendor master file. Visit training.debrarrichardson.com today. The link will be in the show notes. If you paid foreign vendors reportable income in tax year 2025 and want to file the 1042-S forms using one of the two IRS free e-filing tools, then this episode will break down 3 differences between FIRE and IRIS that might make your decision easier. Keep listening. Welcome to episode 374. 3 reasons why it's better to use IRIS and not FIRE for 1042-S forms for tax year 2025. Now, before we get into that, I do want to just explain why I didn't also include the 1042, which is the annual withholding tax return for U.S. source income of foreign persons. It's also required to be filed to the IRS to report tax withheld and payments that you reported on the 1042-S. However, the 1042 cannot be filed in IRIS or FIRE. It has to use what they call the modernized e-filing, and they really on that page of the IRS site, they provide, or the IRS provides, like these third-party providers that can do it for you. And so I'll leave a link to that page in the show notes. So when you do file reportable income, you definitely have to file the 1042-S, send it to your vendors, but you also have to file the 1042. Again, that can't be filed in IRIS or FIRE, so I'm not going to include it here. All right, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about the 1042-S. Now, the 1042-S is the foreign person's U.S. source income subject to withholding. Now, once you determine what income is reportable, the 1042-S is the form you report that income paid and any withholding for your foreign vendors. Now, you report it to your foreign vendors by sending them or furnishing them the recipient copy of the 1042-S, and then you also report it to the IRS by sending them a copy of the 1042-S as well. Now, if you have more than 10 aggregate forms across all of your information returns, not just the 1042Ss, but your 1099s, your W-2s, which I'm thinking most people do, then you must file the 1042S form electronically. And the IRS has provided for tax year 2025 2 free systems to do that e-filing, and that is the Information Returns Intake System, or IRIS, and the Filing Information Returns Electronically, or the FIRE system. Now, the fire system has been around for a very long time. It's the legacy e filing platform. And again, it's just been around for decades. The IRIS system is the newest e filing system from the IRS. It was actually available in 2023 for tax year 2022. However, it wasn't until January of 2026 for tax year 2025 that the 1042S was added to the IRIS system, meaning you can file the 1042S in the IRIS system beginning with tax year 2025. So now that begs the question, which, if you have 1042Ss that you need to file reported or reportable U.S. sourced income for foreign persons, and then also report any taxes withheld, and if you have more than 10 forms or aggregate forms of information returns across all of your information returns, you must file electronically, then that means you have a choice of which one to file in, Fire or Iris. So let's take a look at the three reasons why I think it's better to use Iris and not Fire for 1042S forms for tax year 2025. All right, so the first reason is the Transmitter Control Code, or the TCC. Now, when you file 1042Ss in the FIRE system, you actually need a separate TCC to file 1042S. So, if for some reason this is your first year that you have foreign payees or foreign vendors that you have to send and then report, right, the 1042S, now, if you want to use the fire system, you have to request, if you haven't already done it, right, a transmitter control code separately for the 1042 apps. Now, the other thing, and it probably could have been a whole separate one as well, a separate benefit, but with the fire system, you use publication 1220 in order to format the file for your 1099s. But there's another publication if you want to file 1042Ss through Fire, and that's publication 1187. So both give specifications for the file. Pub 1220 is for 1099s, and Pub 1187 is for the 1042S. However, with the Iris system, you can use the same transmitter control code. And also, entering or filing in Iris will allow you to enter the foreign payees or foreign vendor's name and information, or upload it via a CSV template, which is much easier than having to format a file out of your accounting system or ERP and making sure that it fits the format and can be uploaded into Fire. Yeah, that could have been a fourth one. So we'll just call that a bonus. And I do want to let you know, so the IRS actually related to the transmitter control code, just told everybody, hey, you needed to apply one, or you should apply for one by November 1st for tax year 2025. So they are still accepting applications. They say it can take up to 45 days to get a transmitter control code. That doesn't mean that you will not have a transmitter control code by the time the recipient statements and the filing to the IRS is due by March 16th, and it's March 16th this year because March 15th is a Sunday. They just say it may take up to 45 days. When I applied for mine, or for the IRS system, it took less than 10 days, and then other folks it has taken less than that as well. So it does not mean, I should say, that you are too late to file in the IRIS system if you do not already have a transmitter control code for the IRIS system. It just means that you need to hurry up and submit your application for your TCC code. You probably have enough time as of the publication of this podcast, which is Thursday, February 12th, and the due date again is March 16th. So if you do not have a transmitter control code to file an IRIS, don't let that stop you. You can still apply for one. Now, definitely have a backup plan in case it's not issued before the required deadline or before the deadline date of March 16th. Now, the second reason is if you are printing and sending the 1042S forms to your foreign vendors, and you're doing that in-house. And many of you may do that because you might not have as many 1042S forms. And so I didn't say it here, but in all of my other podcasts, I always talk about how many vendors I had and how many 1099s and 1042s that resulted in or converted to at tax time. And so we had, when I was a practitioner, we had 140,000 active vendors across 7 different ERPs. And we sent out anywhere from 24,000 to 30,000 1099s and 1042s. But you know what? Of that amount, only about 400 were 1042S forms. And so, yeah, by the way, all of those we did them in-house. I do not recommend that, 24,000 to 30,000. Yes, we printed them in-house and we sent them out. Hopefully they're not still doing that. But if you have 1042Ss and you don't have a lot, I could definitely see you printing them in-house. And one of the advantages the IRIS system has over Fire is that when you either key the information into IRIS for the 1042s or you upload it using their CSV template, you can not only file that with the IRS, but you can print the forms and send them to your vendors. And you don't need to purchase the forms. You can print them on blank paper. It will print as 1042S forms. Now, that will not happen in Fire. Yes, when you file with Iris, it will allow you to print the forms for the vendors. It will allow you to file the 1042Ss with the IRS. But when you do the same, right, file the 1042S in the Fire system, it does not allow you to print the forms that you're going to send to the vendors. You have to do that separately, which most likely, if you're doing it in-house, means now you got to go buy forms. And so that is another benefit of using Iris. Now, the last one is, you know what? Based on the IRS's announcement that the Fire system is retiring in 2027 for tax year 2026, that means that Fire won't be available for the coming tax years, starting tax year 2026 for filing season 2027. So if you have a choice now to get set up in IRIS so you can verify that it can be done, or if you have any issues, right, you can clear them up before next year. You still have time to file in fire and then clear them up so that you're available, or you have the ability to file in iris next year. Use this time to figure out what's wrong. Now, I'm going to tell you, you're probably not going to find anything wrong. I've been following in Iris since the portal has been available, and it's actually very easy. But just in case, that can be a backup plan, right? Continue, even if you have already in the past filed in Fire, you may want to, right, get the transmitter control code for Iris, or if you filed 1099 in Iris, you can use the same one. But you might just want to do it in Iris anyway, just to make sure that you have the ability to do it when it may be required. And I only say maybe because, the IRS has announced the fire system is retiring, but they haven't actually retired it yet. So who knows what's going to happen for tax year 2026, the filing season 2027. But it does not hurt to get started now and get that system set up and ready for when it may be required. All right, so those are the three reasons why I think it's better to use Iris and not Fire for 1042S forms for tax year 2025. Let me say the three again really quickly. The first one is you do not need a separate TCC for filing 1042Ss versus your 1099s like you do in Fire when you're using Iris. The second one is when you're using Iris, you can then use that information that you uploaded and file with the IRS to then print the 1042S forms on blank paper. Fire doesn't do that. You have to purchase separate 1042S forms and generate them yourself. The third one is, you know what? The IRS has announced that the fire system is retiring beginning tax year 2026. So Iris will be the only system that will be available if the IRS follows through. And so it's nothing like getting the system set up, getting your TCC for Iris if you don't have it, so that you are prepared. You have already done it for 1 year and you know that there are no issues. Or if you know there are issues, now you know that there are issues and you have time to correct them before that is the only system that is available. You don't want to be correcting it during that tax season for tax year 2026. Oh, and I almost forgot the bonus reason, and that is that you do not have to have a separate publication and a separate file format to tell you or to guide you how to upload your 1042S for the iris system like you have to do for the fire system. Now, I will put links to both the Iris page and the Fire page on the IRS website so you can get some more information and decide for yourself. All right, so thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed the 374th episode of the Putting the AP in Happy podcast, where accounts payable teams are empowered to protect the vendor master file from fraud. Don't forget to check the show notes for the links mentioned in the podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing and writing a review of my podcast on the platform that you use to listen. Stay happy.